Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, we are going to check out the brand new SSR unit, Ana. She is a mage DPS SSR character, and we're pretty much going to talk about best build, best teams, and of course, is this unit worth it? So let's not waste any time and let's go ahead and hop right into the video. So for her passive, Bestest Friend, it says at the start of the battle, Ana summons a bunny doll that inherits 120% of her stats. Upon being summoned, the bunny doll drops behind the enemy with the highest attack, dealing 400% of its attack as damage and knocking down its target for 3 seconds. The bunny doll is immune to stats effects and prioritizes attacking the enemy with the highest attack. Additionally, the bunny doll's attack speed is increased by 4 and its critical damage is increased by 10% each time Ana uses a basic attack or a skill, max 10 stacks. If Ana is killed, the bunny doll also dies. So for this passive, it's pretty obvious that the main and most important thing is the bunny doll. The bunny doll is very important, is going to receive attack speed, crit damage increase, which is pretty solid overall. So that's pretty much her passive. And then for her active skill, Come Play With Me, it says Ana uses the power of souls stored within her jar to grant her bunny doll a soul barrier that lasts 3 seconds and can block up to 3 enemy skills. Additionally, it increases physical resistance and magic resistance by 35% for 10 seconds. If the skill barrier ends or is destroyed, the souls contained within will explode, dealing 400% of her attack as damage and inflicting fear on nearby enemies for 2 seconds. If the bunny doll is dead, then Ana casts this skill on herself instead. Now for next active skill says, I'll share a little. Ana enhances her bunny doll using soul juice, increasing its attack by 120% and attack speed by 40 for 8 seconds. If the bunny doll is dead, then Ana casts this skill on herself instead. So once the bunny doll dies, she's going to pretty much increase her own attack and her own attack speed. And then for her special move, it says Ana spills a giant jar full of soul juice towards the enemy with the highest attack, creating a soul zone that boils everything within it for 6 seconds that deals 200% of Ana's attack as damage to enemies inside of the zone every second, and jolts them with each hit. If the bunny doll is within the soul zone, it restores 8% of its max HP every second, and all of its basic attacks are guaranteed to be critical hits. So after reading her kit, it's pretty obvious that the main damage dealer is going to be the bunny doll. The bunny doll is going to be the main, DPS for both Ana and the bunny doll, and you want to make sure that the bunny doll stays alive. So magic and physical resistance is going to be very important for Ana, because when you look at this right here, it says that Ana summons a bunny doll that inherits 120% of her own stats. So whichever stats Ana has, the bunny doll will have that as well. So building physical and magic resistance on Ana will pretty much increase the survivability of the bunny doll. Now, when we take a look at her exclusive equipment, so for level 1, it says each third basic attack from the bunny doll summoned by Bestest Friend will silence for the target for 1 second. For level 2, it says Come Play With Me is now cast on both Ana and the bunny doll. And then for level 3, it says Ana and the bunny doll recover HP equal to 60% of the damage dealt by the bunny doll while under the effects of I'll Share a Little. And then for level 4, it says each third basic attack from the bunny doll summoned by Bestest Friend will ignore 50% of the target's defense. So it's pretty obvious that the bunny doll has some pretty nice basic attack damage because it's ignoring 50% of the enemy's defense, which is honestly pretty good. So basic attack is very, very strong for the bunny doll. And the fact that Sundance is pretty much going to shred through the enemy's defense by 20%, I'm pretty sure that since the bunny doll is sharing Ana's stats, then Sundance can also benefit the bunny doll, because if you're increasing Ana's, like if Ana, let's say Ana shreds through the enemy's base, like she uses her basic attack on the enemy, right? And she shreds through their defense by like 20%. So if the bunny doll dies, then Ana is going to deal basic attack, and she doesn't really enhance her own basic attack, but it's like passive damage. You know what I'm saying? So I still believe that attack speed set is going to be the best set on her due to the fact that you want to increase her attack. But Sundance, might be a decent option, but of course she doesn't amplify her own basic attack, so therefore it's not going to be as strong as attack speed set. Now, when we take a look at her revolution, so since she is a mage unit, her sub nodes are actually very, very good. She has crit rate, she has accuracy, she also has swiftness. Come down over here, you guys can see special move peers, max cooldown reduction, crit damage increase, attack increase. The magic class revolution is very, very good. But let's go and look at her revolution tier 4. So for tier 4, it says Soju Zone increases the bunny doll's attack speed by 50 while it is standing in the soul zone. And then for tier 5, it says bestest friend. If the bunny doll dies in battle, it will be summoned again after 28 seconds. So I think this is the first time we've ever seen a summoned unit being revived into the battlefield after they die. I don't think Lilio, she can revive her Puma. So this is the first time that we've ever seen a unit revive a summoned being. So this is pretty good, but the biggest downside about this Revolution Tier 5 is that the cooldown is too long. 28 seconds is too long. If it was like 10 seconds, that would have been a lot better. But 28 seconds, she might die before she even revives the bunny doll. So I will say the Revolution Tier 5 would have been very good if the cooldown wasn't so long. If it was just 10 seconds at least, it would have been a lot better. And the bunny doll would pretty much have like, I'll say like an 80% chance always being revived into the battlefield because of that 10-second cooldown. But the 20-second cooldown is just, it's too long, man. It's way too long. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at her gameplay. So you guys can see the bunny doll is right here, and it inflicts fear, and the enemy is pretty much focusing on that bunny doll. So the good thing is the fact that Ana is not like a melee, mage unit is very, very good. The fact that she is ranged pretty much increases her own survivability, and the chances of her staying alive is far more likely because the bunny doll is pretty much there to distract and, deal the most damage. So this is actually pretty solid. Let's go ahead and pop that ultimate. So she pops the ultimate. You guys can see the attack speed increase, and then the bunny doll is dealing way more damage now. So her ultimate is very, very important because she's pretty much amplifying that bunny doll, right, allowing it to do a lot more damage. And I'm pretty sure she also heals it as well. I might be wrong here, but if she does her ultimate, I think she actually does heal. Yeah, so the bunny doll actually recovers HP when Ana does her ultimate. So yeah, her kit is pretty simple. You want to make sure that she stays alive, and the bunny doll is pretty much there to be a distraction and deal damage. Now this is where things start to get juicy. Ignition weapons. So the best ignition weapon for her is going to be attack speed set, because this set is going to increase her attack speed, and the fact that the bunny doll shares, like, he pretty much receives the same stats that Ana has, like 120% of her own stats. He's going to receive that attack speed bonus from EO set. Plus, for the 4-piece set effect, it says if the wielder avoids getting hit for 5 seconds, their attack increases by 50%. Now, the thing is, when I look at the passive, it says at the start of the battle. So whichever buffs Ana receives mid-battle, I don't think the bunny doll is going to receive buff like the buff that Ana receives throughout the entirety of the fight. So I think the bunny doll is only going to share the stats that Ana has at the start of the battle only. After that, whichever buffs Ana receives during the battle, the bunny doll is not going to receive that additional stat. So I will say the 2-piece set effect really benefits the bunny doll because it's at the start of the battle, right? It says the warrior's attack speed increases by 20 until the end of the battle. So she is going to have that attack speed increase at the start of the battle through the end of the battle. But for the 4-piece set effect, she has to avoid getting hit for 5 seconds, and that's not the start of the battle. So I don't think the bunny doll is going to receive that 50% attack increase. But Ana, she's pretty much benefiting from this 4-piece set effect, because if the bunny doll dies, then she's pretty much going to buff herself, and she's pretty much going to be your main damage dealer once the bunny doll dies. So I will say attack speed set is best in slot for her, but other sets, for example, like Sundance, are thinking about Sundance, and honestly, I don't think Sundance is, the best option for her due to the fact that sure, she has basic attack in her exclusive equipment, but the thing is, like I said, this doesn't like she doesn't receive this 4 piece set effect, like she doesn't receive the buff at the start of the battle, so therefore the bunny doll is just not going to benefit from this. So therefore I don't think Sundance is going to be viable. Another set that would be interesting would be Zila set, right? Zila set is going to increase survivability for Ana, and the thing is her survivability is actually pretty good without Zila set because she is a ranged, unit, a ranged DPS character. So therefore, the chances of her receiving damage from the enemy is far less likely. So I will say like the best option for her is just attack speed set. Like that's just the best option. It increases her attack speed, increases her attack. It just benefits her. So I will say best set for her is going to be attack speed. This is definitely the best in slot ignition weapon for Ana. Now, when it comes to substats, the best substats for Ana is going to be, of course, magic and physical resistance. This is going to help her stay alive, and the bunny doll as well. Plus, you can put some magic pierce increase for her in her substat, and you can put a crit damage increase. I feel like those are like the top substats for Ana. Is going to increase her damage overall, plus her survivability at the same time. Now, for her slot 4 and 5, I put magic and physical resistance. And the reason why is because when it comes to units who have summon beings, you want to make sure that they have a lot of physical and magic resistance so that the summon being is tanky as hell. Because if they're not tanky, they're going to die immediately. And, it's going to be really hard for that unit to be valuable without that summon being. So therefore, a physical and magic resistance is going to pretty much help the bunny doll stay alive. But if you put crit damage increase and magic pierce, sure, you're going to deal more damage, but the bunny doll is going to be a lot more squishier in Ana as well. So I decided to use magic resistance and physical resistance instead. Now let's go ahead and talk about gameplay. So if I'm being honest, I feel like Ana, she's gonna be very good for, beginner players at the beginning phase of the game because every unit is very strong at low deficits. But once you reach the late game and once you start fighting against enemies who are, like their power level is way higher than yours, like you're going up against enemies who have level 800, like their levels like 822, 900, her damage is just insignificant. Like it's just non-existent, to be honest. And I do feel like, honest, she's just not a high deficit, DPS unit. She's not very useful at higher deficits. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. So if I go ahead and take out white right here, this is a maxed out Ana, like literally maxed out. We have for Revolution tier 4 and 5. This is maxed out Ana. And you guys are pretty much going to see, her performance with just max investment. So we're going to enter this battle and you guys are going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And this is just the unfortunate truth. We're now in a phase where DPS SSR characters are just not valuable anymore. They pretty much fell off. The only SSR DPS character that's pretty much valuable is Vivi. Vivi is the only valuable SSR DPS character because she can actually deal pretty good damage. So you guys are going to see right here, the bunny doll's in the back, and look how much damage Ana already received. And you guys can see that she's barely doing any sort of damage. Like it's just non-existent. She can't even shred through the enemy's fence. It's just not doing much, not doing much at all. Her damage is just non-existent. But of course, if you're a new player, I feel like her damage is going to, be pretty solid. As you guys can see, 10 billion damage. She's the only damage dealing character, so of course she's going to deal damage. But when you pair her up with another DPS character, she deals absolutely no damage at all. I feel like the only thing that's pretty much useful about her is the fact that she can inflict fear on the enemy, and the bunny doll can pretty much serve as a distraction. I feel like that's like best part about her. But other than that, when it comes to damage, I feel like you can't rely on her solely for damage. So we're gonna go ahead and take out Hayura right here. We're gonna put in Trauma Ray instead. So Trauma Ray, put him in up top right here, because Trauma Ray pretty much summon, he buffs up summon beasts. We come over here to one of his skills. It says right here, increases the attack of all allies, including summon beings, by 80% for 8 seconds. So this is going to be pretty good for Ana. So let's go ahead and enter this fight. But I feel like Trauma Ray, he's just going to steal the spotlight. And, you know, Ana, her existence in this team is just not very impactful. So now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Right. Princess Anak. Is she going to use her ultimate? There it is. So you guys can clearly see that the fact that Princess Anak targeted Ana, you know, she has the most attack right now because she's paired up with Albelda, and she's paired up with, not paired up, she has that attack increase from Trauma Ray. But look at this, 700 billion damage coming from Trauma Ray, and Ana, it's like 4 billion. It's just non-existent. You can't even see it. So yeah, when you're pairing her up with, you know, other DPS characters, she's not really doing much. Like, she's not really doing anything, and I would rather use another character instead of Ana. Like, I feel like if you were to use Vivi, Vivi will be far more useful in a situation like this. So let's go ahead and put in Vivi, and then we're going to put in Trauma Ray, and you guys are going to see exactly what's going to happen here. You guys are going to see that Vivi is actually going to deal a lot more damage than Ana. So let's let this load up. Fight. And just watch this. Vivi might die here, but as long as, you know, we win this fight with Trauma Ray, that's all that matters. Look at that. So Vivi was able to eliminate Light Uric. She's the only one alive. I think we're going to die here. Look at this. That's why I say this. I say this. Vivi is literally the best SSR DPS unit, because no SSR DPS unit can do that. Joaquin, maybe. But you guys can see 134 billion damage coming from Vivi, and of course, Trauma Ray 504 billion. So Vivi, her damage is actually there. You can actually see her damage. She eliminated Flight Uric. He wasn't able to eliminate Data as a Heart, which isn't surprising to me, to be honest, because he's just Data as a Heart. But her, like, she made an impact in this team. Like, she was actually useful. Meanwhile, for Ana, it's like her damage wasn't really useful. It's minuscule. Like, she just doesn't do anything. She doesn't do much. So for high deficit players, Ana, unfortunately, is just very useless for high deficit players. I see no reason for you to even, you know, invest in this character, because for us high deficit players, the main units that we're focusing on are SSR plus units and family head units, and, you know, maybe collaboration characters, but it's mostly units who are above SSR. And I feel like for SSR characters, they're only going to be valuable if they're support or tank. For example, we have Princess Anak, you know, Tank and Dorsey. Tank and Dorsey is pretty much one of the most busted tank units in the game, because she's just so versatile and she's just so good. And Princess Anak is just extremely broken as well. So I feel like SSR characters, they're pretty much dominating the support and I'll say the debuffing meta, because you have Reflajo as well, who's also pretty good. You have Vargarv, you know, Hayura. These units are very, very good. Hwarun, Bomb, very strong SSR characters. But when it comes to DPS characters, you have Vivi, and that's it. Like, you literally just have Vivi, and that's literally it. You don't really have any other option but Vivi. So unfortunately, Ana is just not, she's nowhere near Vivi level. But if you are a new player, beginner, then Ana might serve you well if you are a new player. But if you are a late game player, she's not going to do much at all. Now, when it comes to bosses, she can actually deal some pretty decent damage. Of course, it's not like, you know, game breaking like Kaiser and White, but, you know, her damage against bosses, you know, it's there. It's something. I'll give her that. But I would still prefer White and Kaiser instead. So we have that as a heart right here. You guys can see her damage, this is not really much, not really doing much to be honest, but at least she's doing something though. So we got 1 billion right here. And the bunny doll is actually dealing the most damage here, of course. And when Harun places down that pathway, right? When she places down the pathway, the bunny doll is going to receive that 100% attack increase. So I think we're going to be stuck on this 1.2 billion. Unfortunately, we can't get past this because, Dazahard is just extremely tanky. But we're just going to go through this fight and we're just going to see her damage after this. So against Dazahard, she's bad. She's not even good against Dazahard. I thought she was going to be good, but Harun literally dealt more damage, which is kind of crazy. So unfortunately, her performance against Dazahard isn't good. Against Gusting, it was actually pretty decent against Gusting, but for Dazahard, she's not really good. So I will say she's definitely not going to be, a boss unit. But of course, when we have White, now this is not a White video. We already did his guide, but I just want to flex real quick just to show you guys, White's, performance against bosses, because we already did Gusting, but this time I want to see White's performance against Dazahard. It might be really crazy, who knows, but let's see what happens here. There we go. Got that ultimate. 1 billion damage immediately, man. The White against bosses is just crazy. Like 1 billion damage right off the bat. Look at that, 2 billion damage. We could probably hit 3 billion. This is actually crazy. Okay, I'm getting off track here. I'm getting off track, but White really, really good against bosses. But when it comes to Ana, I mean, she's not really good against bosses as well. So unfortunately, not really useful in PvE at high deficit and not really useful against bosses. In PvP, not really as well. So I will say for Ana, I mean, this unit, she's an SSR DPS character. Unfortunately, the truth is when it comes to SSR DPS characters, SSR plus characters and family headed characters will always be better than SSR DPS characters because number one, SSR plus DPS characters have way more stats. Like when we take a look at White's Revolution right over here, when it comes to Revolution, you guys can see that, he has more stats. He has more bonus stats. Plus, the Revolution for SSR plus characters are just way better overall. So yeah, unfortunately for Ana, I feel like this unit gonna be very good for early game players, but for us late game players, she's just another unit, to be honest. She's just another unit, not very important at all whatsoever. So is she worth it? No, she's not worth it. I would highly recommend you guys to not even summon on her special banner. It's not really worth it. I would still recommend you to stick with the normal summon banner. Get some characters that you don't even have maxed out. If you don't have Gigi maxed out, if you don't have Bomb maxed out, Reflejo, focus on these characters instead. Do not focus on Ana because you can still get Ana through the normal summon banner. If we check the rates right here, actually, if I check this right here, you can still get Ana right here. So I would still summon on the normal banner. But of course, if you're a late game player, the special summon banner is just way better because you get resources and it's way easier for you to get the character that you actually want. So unfortunately, not really good. I was hoping that she's going to be a good SSR DPS character so that, we can have a lot more options, but she's just not a really good unit at all. Not really good whatsoever. So that's pretty much it. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. And I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.